What you just saw right there was Iran's retaliatory missile strikes against Bahrain, and specifically ballistic missile strikes directed against the U.S. Fifth Fleet Naval Support Activity Installation in Bahrain. Iran retaliated against every nation, essentially, in the Middle East, other than Oman, following the United States and Israel launching a joint military operation and attack against Iran late last night. The United States is calling its military strikes with Israel against Iran Operation Epic Fury. At the MeidasTouch Network, we are calling it Operation Epstein Fury, or the Jeffrey Epstein War. There is now a full-fledged war taking place between the United States and Israel against Iran. All hell is breaking loose in the Middle East. Iran responded against the military strikes by the U.S. and Israel against Tehran by shooting ballistic missiles into Israel, also by shooting ballistic missiles into the UAE, and specifically at Abu Dhabi and Dubai, by shooting ballistic missiles at Qatar, Kuwait, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, and Iraq. We also saw ballistic missiles and cruise missiles coming from either Israel or the United States, trailing over Iraq into Iran. This was being referred to by Israel as decapitation or assassination strikes. You had Israel focusing on taking out top Iranian military and political leadership, while the U.S. was attacking military infrastructure. On the other hand, you had Iran attacking some of the neighboring Middle East countries, but specifically focusing on where there were United States military assets. Also in Yemen, the Houthis over there said that they would be utilizing their capabilities, or what remains of their capabilities, in order to once again attack the cargo ships in the region, specifically the ships that are traversing the Strait of Hormuz. You see right here an image, the Persian Gulf, the Gulf of Oman. You see the Strait of Hormuz right there, which is right by Iran. This is one of the main shipping routes out of the Persian Gulf. And so if the Strait of Hormuz is shut down, that would also be disastrous in terms of our economy and economies throughout the world. So let's give you some of the latest information. Hat tip to the open source intelligence defenders. They do a good job at least aggregating some of this news. We could show you some of the images of what it looked like as well in Iran and in the surrounding areas as I go through what went down. So here's what we know. A joint U.S.-Israeli operation was launched last night. Trump is now calling for regime change. This is not about stopping Iran from enriching uranium. By all accounts, the Oman foreign minister said that Iran was basically in the mediated discussions, agreeable to no longer enriching uranium and agreeable to oversight. But Donald Trump has made it very clear. He gave he posted on his social media platform a video he'll be speaking of this morning as well, saying that this is about regime change. This is about changing the leadership in Iran. Really nothing to do with about uranium enrichment anymore. It's changing the entire structure of Iran. And Donald Trump and Israel are calling for the Iranian people to revolt, to get out on the streets and topple the Ayatollah. The opening waves of these strikes have been characterized as assassination strikes, confirming early reports of decapitation strikes. According to Israel, they've had success in hitting numerous top military leadership of Iran. There are reports, though, that they were not able, at least as of right now, to hit the Ayatollah and the president of Iran. Officials from both the U.S. and Israel say that this is going to be a multi-day military campaign. As I mentioned earlier, Israel is focusing on military targets. And the U.S. is helping as well with some of the bunkers. There have been lots of ballistic missiles being fired at this time. We have images right here. Israel, said, look, we engaged in this quote unquote preemptive strike. And then when Iran then hit, or then launch ballistic missiles into Israel. Israel says we've got to defend ourselves. We have a right to defend ourselves. Iran has launched strikes on U.S. bases across the Middle East. Explosions are seen in the U.S. naval base in Al Jafar, Bahrain. That's what you saw at the beginning of this video. Alarm sirens followed and multiple explosions in Kuwait, in Abu Dhabi, and in Dubai in the United Arab Emirates. The UAE said it has the right to respond militarily if it wants to. Saudi Arabia, Riyadh, hit as well. They said they have the right to respond against Iran and that their sovereignty has been violated. In Qatar, an official source at the Ministry of Defense told Al Jazeera that an Iranian missile was intercepted by their Patriot defense system. And there's still lots of attacks going on there as well. Throughout all of this, Donald, like last night, as the America was at war. I mean, we're 100% at war now with Iran. Like, let's be clear about what this is. Donald Trump, though, was posting messages about his 2020 election conspiracies after the United States was at war. This is how, demented this guy is. He posted photos of Fani Willis, the Fulton County District Attorney, and Donald Trump goes, as Georgia prosecutor pursued Trump, Biden DOJ invited her to get lucrative grants, memo shows. Like, that's what he was doing last night. He was making lots of posts like that. Also, Donald Trump made a video of himself wearing a baseball cap or a cap that said USA on it. He was sweaty and grotesque looking, and he was giving this speech that he just posted on Truth Social, his failing social media company. And he goes, the lives of American heroes may be lost and we may have casualties, but that's what happens in war. That was his message. Like, not really discussing with American people why we're doing regime change, what the costs are going to be, like not trying to sell this war to us or let us know why, with all of the problems we're facing in the United States, we're going to war with Iran for regime change, because didn't they always say it was about enriched uranium? So now it's total mask off. It's about regime change. But here Donald Trump says, look, yeah, our soldiers may die, but that's what war is. So whatever. Here, watch what he says. Here, play this clip.
Seeks to kill. The lives of courageous American heroes may be lost and we may have casualties. That often happens in war. But we're doing this not for now. We're doing this for the future. And it is a noble mission. We pray for every service member as they selflessly risk their lives to ensure that Americans and our children will never be threatened by a nuclear-armed Iran.
And then, as Donald Trump says, this is about regime change. He tells the people of Iran, look, this is what you wanted me to do. I'm doing it for you. So go out and basically revolt and take back your country. Prove to me that this is what you wanted me to do for you. Here it is. Play this clip.
For many years, you have asked for America's help, but you never got it. No president was willing to do what I am willing to do tonight. Now you have a president who is giving you what you want. So let's see how you respond. America is backing you with overwhelming strength and devastating force. Now is the time to seize control of your destiny and to unleash the prosperous and glorious future that is close within your reach. This is the moment for action. Do not let it pass. May God bless the brave men and women of America's armed forces. May God bless the United States of America. May God bless you all. Thank you.
Now, do you remember that Donald Trump, when he would always attack former President Obama, he would always say, look, the U.S., he goes, Obama's going to be he's so weak and he can't negotiate. And he's got all these problems that he's going to get America into a war with Iran. Remember when Donald Trump did that, just the ridiculousness of this whole MAGA farce, this whole phony, pathetic movement that's we're not for wars, we're not for never-ending wars. And now you're literally out there bragging about we want regime change in Iran, while America, we don't even have health care in America, while people can't afford rent. That this is where our taxpayer dollars are going to. Anyway, here, play this clip of Donald Trump from back in the day. Let's play it.
Our president will start a war with Iran because he has absolutely no ability to negotiate. He's weak and he's ineffective.
Or what about when Stephen Miller would say things like this during the campaign? To anyone still gullible enough to fall for scummy media hoaxes, Trump said warmongering neocons love sending your kids to die for wars they would never fight themselves. Liz Cheney is Kamala's top advisor. Liz wants to invade the whole Middle East. Kamala equals World War III. Trump equals peace. Oh, how about that? Here was what the foreign minister of Oman, Badr al-Busadi, told Face the Nation yesterday morning to early afternoon about the progress that he thought was being made in negotiations between Iran and the United States. And what was expected to happen was that negotiations were going to resume on Monday. The mediator between the U.S. and Iran, this Omani foreign minister, Badr al-Busadi, believed that he had made basically a deal where Iran was going to agree not to enrich uranium and have independent oversight. They needed to work out technical details on Monday. Watch what he says. But then the United States said, actually, it's not about the uranium. We want regime change. That's what we want. I'm just showing you the facts. Here, play this clip.
So the enriched material, the things that could be used as nuclear fuel for a bomb, you're saying Iran would not keep on their own soil?
They would give it up.
They would give it up?
They will not be able to actually accumulate that material that will enable them to create a bomb. There's no accumulation. So there will be zero accumulation, zero stockpiling, and full verification. That is also equally important achievement, I think. A full and comprehensive verification by the IAEA, which is the agency in charge of this file.
The UN nuclear watchdog.
That's right.
So you're saying all enriched material would be shipped someplace else, not Russia, but...
No. The current stockpiles that still exist.
The things that are still in Iran.
I think that there is agreement now that this will be downblended to the lowest level possible.
Okay.
To a neutral level, a natural level, which means, and converted into fuel. And that fuel will be irreversible.
And then yesterday, when Donald Trump was in Corpus Christi, Texas, he was asked, do you have a message for Iran? This is before the strikes took place and the war took place. Here's what Donald Trump said. Let's play this clip.
Amazing.
Do you have a message for Iran?
Well, they should make a deal, but they don't want to quite go far enough, and it's too bad. Look, we've been playing with them for 47 years, and that's a long time. They've been blowing the legs off our people, blowing the face off our people, the arms. They've been knocking out ships one by one. But every month there's something else. So you can't put up with it too long. We're not happy with the negotiation. They just don't want to. They don't want to say the key words. We're not going to have a nuclear weapon. They have to say we're not going to have a nuclear weapon, and they just can't quite get there. They want to enrich a little bit. You don't have to enrich when you have that much oil. So I'm not happy with the negotiation.
Also, throughout the day yesterday or throughout the evening as the war began, Israel's Mossad was going on to these Telegram chat rooms and also hacking into Iranian prayer apps and telling the people of Iran, look, now's your time, revolt, stand up, overthrow the regime, topple the regime. We also have seen major Iranian riot police out on the street, getting prepared if protesters are out there. By all accounts, the Ayatollah and the president of Iran have not been killed at this moment. That it's a very fluid situation. And we see these ballistic missile strikes across the entire Middle East right now, every country other than Oman, because they were the mediators. So we're looking right now, I think, focus on the Strait of Hormuz, focus on this. Was this war going to be expanding now to other countries? What are the implications of all of this? And we'll be following it every step of the way here on the MeidasTouch network, of course. The Operation Epstein Fury, Operation the Jeffrey Epstein War. That's really what this is about, in my opinion. We'll keep you posted every step of the way. Thanks for watching.
Want to stay plugged in? Become a subscriber to our Substack at MeidasPlus.com. You'll get daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, ad-free episodes of our podcast, and more exclusive content only available at MeidasPlus.com.